Welcome to the Workplace Minute, powered by H3HR Advisors and sponsored by WorkHuman. Thanks for joining me for a quick update on what's important in the world of work. My name is Steve Boese. Today in the Workplace Minute, we're talking about elder care in the United States, the workers who provide it, the families who depend on it, and the growing pressure this puts on employers and policymakers alike. Let's break it down. If you follow labor market trends at all, you already know the headlines. America is aging. People are living longer, birth rates are lower, and the ratio of working-age adults to retirees keeps tightening. That means demand for services that support older adults, whether in their homes, assisted living communities, or in skilled nursing facilities, is accelerating rapidly. But here's the paradox. Even as those roles are among the fastest-growing occupations in the economy, they remain some of the hardest and lowest-paid jobs we have. Recent reporting for NBC News highlights that home health aides and personal care aides are projected to add hundreds of thousands of jobs in the coming years, outpacing most other professions. Yet wages often hover near or even below what workers can earn in retail or fast food jobs. The work is physically demanding, and it's emotionally taxing. Schedules can be unpredictable, and employer benefits are inconsistent. All these factors lead to high turnover in these critical roles. So on the one hand, the market is screaming, we need more people to do this work. But on the other hand, the jobs themselves are sending a very different message. This is exhausting, stressful, and not financially sustainable. And that disconnect should matter to every HR leader and business executive who's listening. Because elder care isn't just a healthcare issue. It's a workforce issue. It's a productivity issue. And increasingly, it's an employee benefits issue. Let's start with the people actually doing the caregiving. If you could, imagine the day in the life of a home health aide. You may be helping someone bathe, dress, manage their medications, prepare meals, and move safely around their home. You might be the primary source of companionship that person has in a day. You're managing risk, dignity, family dynamics, and sometimes end-of-life realities, all in a single shift. And then at the end of the week, you look at your paycheck, and it's depressing. When compensation doesn't match the skill, responsibility, and emotional loads of the job, workers leave. They burn out. They jump to other industries. Providers struggle to staff. Shifts leaving families scrambling at times. Hospitals and other facilities are forced to keep patients longer because there's nowhere safe for them to go. And we end up with a systemic bottleneck. And at the macro level, there are some policy levers that can help. Reimbursement rates in public programs influence what providers can pay. Immigration pathways affect the size of the available labor pool. Training subsidies, credential portability, wage standards, and career ladders can make these roles more attractive and more professionalized. If we want a larger supply of caregivers, we can't pretend compensation is separate from that conversation. But policies alone can't fix everything. At the local and organizational level, providers can redesign jobs to reduce stress and increase retention. They can work to provide more predictable scheduling, smaller caseloads, and better supervisor supports. Other beneficial interventions can include access to mental health resources, increased paid training time, and even clear advancement paths into specialized or higher-paying roles. Technology can help here too. Smarter routing, documentation tools that reduce paperwork, remote monitoring that help prevent crises. Not to replace humans, but to make the human work more manageable. And there's also a cultural component. Caregiving has historically been undervalued, often because it's been performed disproportionately by women and immigrants. Elevating the profession requires recognizing its complexity and importance. Now let's widen the lens further, because elder care workers are only part of the story. Millions of employees across every industry are also unpaid caregivers for aging parents, spouses, or relatives. They're coordinating appointments, managing finances, arranging transportation, handling emergencies, often while trying to maintain their full-time job. For many, this is a second shift that starts when the workday ends. And just like childcare challenges reshape benefits conversations over the last decade, elder care is quickly moving into the center of the employee experience. Forward-thinking employers are already experimenting with expanded leave policies, referral services, care navigation platforms, more flexible schedules, dependent care FSAs, and backup care options. And some are partnering with specialized providers to help employees find vetted support or understand Medicare and long-term care choices. Why all this? Because when workers are worried about mom falling down or dad missing a medication, they are not fully present at work. Absenteeism, stress levels, and burnout all increase, and eventually retention suffers. Supporting caregivers is an essential workforce strategy. And here's the part HR leaders should really pay attention to. The same demographic forces that are increasing demand for elder care services are also reshaping your talent pool. Your own workforce is aging. More employees are entering the phase where caregiving becomes real and immediate. This is not a niche problem for a small group of people. It's rapidly becoming mainstream. So what can organizations do? First, measure the problem. Understand how many employees are providing elder care and what challenges they face. You can't design solutions for a population you haven't even acknowledged. Second, normalize it. Create space for managers and employees to talk about these responsibilities without stigma or fear of career penalties. Third, enact practical supports. Even small interventions like flexibility in start times, more remote work options, access to expert caregiving guidance can make a meaningful difference. And finally, recognize that this is a long-term structural shift, not a temporary spike. Benefits and workforce planning need to reflect that reality. If we zoom all the way out, elder care sits at the intersection of labor economics, social policy, and human compassion. We are going to need more caregivers. Those jobs must be better and better supported. And employers everywhere will need to help their own people navigate the responsibilities waiting for them at home. Ignoring any of those dimensions just makes the whole system weaker. That's it for today's Workplace Minute. If you're an HR or business leader, it's going to be a part of your talent strategy, whether you plan for it or not. The only real choice is whether you get ahead of it. Thanks so much for listening, and a big thank you to WorkHuman for supporting the Workplace Minute. If this episode made you think about how the elder care crisis in America is impacting your organization and what you should do about it, please share it with a colleague. I'm Steve Boese, and this has been the Workplace Minute from H3 Advisors.